And welcome back to Let's Play Breath of Fire 2. Last time, we were given the runaround as we had to backtrack a lot, but we got some good rewards out of it. Namely, we got the Renew spell for Nina, and also we got access to Jeff's first dragon powers. Throughout all that walking, I did gain a couple levels. Rand, I actually went back to Windia to purchase a bronze shield for him, because I learned of the equipment they sell there, besides the Revet Knuckles, that's the only other thing you can equip. So I figured, why not, give him a little extra defense there. Nina, up to level 12, she learned another spell, Exit. Exit allows you to escape from dungeons. However, it doesn't work quite as well as the spell typically does in most RPGs, due to the fact that any dungeon that starts with some kind of dialogue trigger to enter, or is connected to a town, Exit does not work in for whatever reason, and this actually composes a surprisingly large number of dungeons in the game. Also, Rand got access to the Thunder spell, which is identical to Nina's version of the spell, so that's another damage option that he has there. Semafort, huh? Well, it looks like we've got an actual lead for once. But, yeah, now that we've resolved all the issues, we've taken care of all the business we've had on this continent, we can now head over to the next one. And our only clue so far is that a woman with bat wings was seen heading towards the nation, I guess, of Semafort. We don't really know anything about this nation, though. Oh well, I'm sure we'll figure it out when we get there. I won't be using Sten for a little bit. After the next dungeon, though, I will be swapping Nina out for Sten, but for the time being, it's going to be these guys. For a not insignificant amount of time. Now, to get into the main land of the continent, we have to go through this forest first, but I don't think there's any enemies here, actually. Hold on, we can just check that. Yep, the little goblin thing is sleeping. A lot of frogs, though. Well, I'm sure this means nothing. Huh? Is that one of the frogs? What? Whoa, big frog. Who the heck is this guy? Speaks some French, it looks like. Jean, huh? Oh, I mean, we gotta get to Semafort. I mean, if we have time, we'll do it for this guy. Alright, but first things first, we gotta get to Semafort. Now, Semafort is that little structure in the center of the lake there. But how do we get there? Ah, fly enemies. H-flies. There is an enemy we could meet up with around Corsair called TSI period flies. I'm not sure what that stands for, Sci-flies. These H-flies are the upgraded version of those guys. I think these flies can curse you. They either curse you or poison you. They're not terribly threatening, so I don't worry too much. Let's see, we've got a Pollen. Pollen can use the build-up attack. The Stamen... Remember the Stamens do something bad, but I can't remember what it is at the moment. We'll have our physical fighters focused on the Pollen, and Stamen is actually weak to fire. I don't think the Pollen is, strangely enough, even though they're both plant-type enemies. Ah, here's what he can do. Oh, luckily Rand's still okay, so he should be able to take out the Pollen before it can whack any of our party members. Just a note, Jeff's dragon forms do follow the standard elemental affinities, so anything that is weak to, say, fire or thunder, they will take double damage from it, boosting its damage to a fairly impressive 512, so if you can find the enemies that are weak to it, it's pretty good. Alright, this looks like a little dock area. Got any new enemies here? More H-flies. Luckily, H-flies aren't too terrible. I want to say these guys curse you, well, hopefully we'll see that. I know one of the enemies around here can curse you. Nope, poison. I'm not too worried about that. I don't even have to use an antidote on it, because we've got an option for curing it coming right up. Ooh, level 13. Awesome! Sonic Boom. Now that's the spell I was really waiting for. Sonic Boom is essentially the upgraded Thunder spell. Hits for about, I'd say, like 50 to 60 damage on all enemies who just have standard resistance to it. Against enemies who are weak to it, that's just like a good 100 damage against everything. Oh, sure, we can take a rest here. But, do you have a way to get into Semafort? No? Just a rest area here? Okay. So, looks like we don't actually have a way of getting into Semafort at the moment. There's no boat here. This guy can't help us. Perhaps our best bet would be the Witch Tower at the moment. Maybe the witch could conjure us a way to get across. That is a lot of flies. Well, this is as good a time as any to show off Sonic Boom. Nope, Sonic Boom. Right there. Pretty expensive at this point, costs a grand total of 11 AP. However, as Nina gains levels and gets more and more AP, this will basically become her bread and butter attack, and at this point it's not too terribly useful just because it's fairly expensive compared to our other options, and not too many enemies are vulnerable to it. But after, critical hit damage did 90 to everything. After this whole section, I'm not gonna bother going back to the rest area. I brought plenty of antidotes off screen. Okay. But after this whole section, there's actually going to be a lot of dungeons coming up where enemies are just very vulnerable to Sonic Boom. What's this say? Whale cakes? I'd like some whale cakes. But unfortunately, we can't seem to get past this brush of trees. However, now, there's a bit of an overlay error here. These enemies that we're encountering, these are actually supposed to be past that sign, or rather past those trees, but because they didn't lay the tile sets properly, they're actually past that sign. And these guys, not only do they give more experience than most of the enemies around here, they're also very vulnerable to Sonic Boom. Yeah, see that? Pretty much every enemy around here is weak to that, and they give a lot of experience points. Now, I'm not going to utilize this right now, but later we're going to be getting a new character, and I want to get him a few levels in a very short amount of time. And because there's a newer set of enemies there that give out a lot of experience, I can get experience very quickly by just spam casting Sonic Boom on them. Huh. Actually, I never knew you could encounter the catfish enemy here. I believe you can only encounter them solo here. The big enemy that you can counter past that sign, though, is, I forget which variety of the enemy is. I think they're the H-crabs, I would hope, the heavy crabs. They're very defensive, but they have low HP and are vulnerable to Sonic Boom, and they tend to come in, like, groups of 3 or 4. Give massive amounts of experience if you can take them out. Oh, that was the wrong target. Oh well. Luckily, the Tier 1 spells are all very cheap. That's actually a big problem that the spells have as they go up, is that while you do get more and more AP to cast the lower level spells, the higher level spells just, throughout most of the game, they're just too expensive to be slinging them around too often. And by the time you have a ton of AP to cast the lower level spells a bunch, they also are not that useful anymore. That's one of the problems that Magic has in this game. Magic is really good during the middle section of the game, but that's basically the best it has going for it, and it starts dropping off. At least damaging Magic starts dropping off after that. Alright. Oh, better give one on Nina too. I'm not too worried about using up a bunch of herbs. We've got plenty of them. Alright, let's head into Witch Tower. Someone more handsome, you say? Well, I think we've run into a situation like this. Monopeds. These are guys, I think they're also like either they get a critical hit or they miss. Actually, since Rand can't do too much damage at this point, let's just have him and Nina use Thunder. Ooh, nice dodge. Like I said, dodging a critical hit and them just missing are actually two separate things. Alright, not too bad. So, much like, what was her name, Sana earlier? We need to have Jeff be our point character because he fits the criteria for handsomeness, I guess. Must be those boyish good looks. Hey, more H-flies. Basically, every time you step on this tile, whenever you either have the correct character or a character who isn't correct, you'll still get an encounter no matter what. And you just have to beat the encounters and keep stepping on the tile until the path opens up. Alright, M-Mummy, This guy's undead, so I could equip the Silver Dagger if I had it, but it's still on Sten, but it shouldn't be necessary. Undead are also very vulnerable to fire magic, so... Oh, well, he's weak anyway, so Cat just takes him out in one hit. Alright, we're in the Witch's Tower. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, this chest is a trap. Don't open it. Well, I'd like to, kid, but we've got business here. So I presume that the curse that Jean fellow was under was cast by the witch herself, so let's see if we can't find her. The Witch Tower is probably the first real deal dungeon we've had to deal with. I mean, we've had stuff like Mount Fubi and the Tagwoods, but this is definitely the more confusing, more puzzle-oriented side of your typical dungeon exploration in RPGs. As a result, this place is definitely a fair deal more confusing than anything we've had to go through so far, and there'll be many dead ends that we can end up going. Now, if I had the AP to spare, I would definitely be using Sonic Boom a lot more, but that would run out just too quickly. I think I can, cast it like, about 6 times? Let's see, the Cure All. I forget what that does. Let's see, Order Cure All, where is that? Recovers bad status, so I assume that just heals all status effects. I never really use that because the only status effect I'm ever typically worried about is poison. Ogres. Nothing too special about these guys. I think they're just big walls of HP. As long as we're using standard Thunder spells and stuff like Spark, Nina should have plenty of AP to spare. Or at least enough that we won't really worry too much. We should be by the end when it runs out. We will have a boss fight at the end, but Nina's not too useful in bosses. I keep trying to do that to hit multiple enemies, but they just keep getting killed before we even get the chance to do that, because Cat's just too strong. Very low on the defense, though. Alright, let us continue on our way. So the correct path is the right path. I was just getting that treasure chest there. You don't really have to worry about getting all the treasure in this game. The game doesn't really keep track of it, and not all of it's really valuable. Some of it's very good. Not everything is great. More H-Flies. If it's an encounter I can safely auto-battle like this, it's really not necessary to cut it out. The longer stuff I'll definitely take out. Looks kind of like the kid down there. Well, that's a chest there. That was an impressive showing for Cat there. Not only did she get a critical on her first hit, enemy attacked her, and she counterattacked to kill him, too. Counterattacks actually can get critical hits, although it doesn't display the message for it like it does for standard critical hits. Alright, just have everyone focus on the monoped, and have Cat take out the mummy. I think what the M-Mummy can do is that it can cast Spark on you. Usually it's dead before I give it the chance to. Magic is still very threatening to your party at this point because of the fixed damage range, and we obviously don't have quite as much HP as some enemies we come across. So a good 30 to 40 damage is pretty devastating to us at this point. I should keep a track of Rand's stats, just see, let's see, his defense is getting quite a bit higher than Cat, although I think I'll wait until level 12 before I switch them around. Just because Cat's been doing pretty good on taking out the enemies, although definitely as you can see the low HP is really hindering her. Yeah, this is easily an auto-battleable fight. It's the first time Cat just didn't kill one of those things straight out. Now, when an enemy defends, I believe they actually have to take their turn before the defense goes through. When you defend, it takes priority over everything, and you automatically go into the defense stance. So if anybody attacks you, you're already in the defense stance. For enemies, though, they're not that lucky. Alright, let's see here. Got one of these puzzles. You will take this one. I can't actually see the whole thing from here, so... Actually, take this back. Alright, so I want to get to that center one to get all those chests. So let's see here. Alright, so first we want to get to the center one, so let's see. It would take us to the left, to the right, then drop us off. Those dead ends where there's nothing that connects, those just drop you down a floor. Let's see, this one, we just took that one. Alright, to the left, to the right, to the right. Looks like that would drop us off. That would go there, there. Alright, I think this one. Sorry I had to think about that so much. It doesn't really matter if the puzzles are difficult or not. When I have the pressure of being watched, even the simplest puzzle becomes a pretty daunting task to me. Oh, actually, these guys aren't the critical only type enemy. Maybe they just have a very high critical hit rate. Well, whatever, they go down easy enough. Yeah, as you can see, most of the enemies here aren't too tough. Alright, so there's a bit of a gimmick to this floor. As we open the chests, holes start to open up. Walk into those holes, get dropped down. Simple as that. Alright, lots of money though. Alright, let's get this one. Actually, let's get the... As I was saying, let's get this one first. One enemy configuration worth using Sonic Boom on here is actually the configuration of 5 H-Flies. Just ran into that. None of them poisoned me though, so that's good. Everyone else is okay. Yeah, actually, I did use Sonic Boom there, but Jeff actually countered half of them before Nina's turn rolled around. It just goes to figure, when I try to use something effectively, I just get really lucky and end up rendering the need for it just pointless. You really want to bring antidotes to these dungeon areas because poison is just very frustrating. You'll see it very frequently. Alright, let's hop on back here. Don't really have to go to that left one, but may as well show off what's there. And this one I can just take through process of elimination. Still, a lot of kids around here. Kid statues, anyway. Man, ran into 5 H-Flies again. Luckily, none of them poisoned me. Still did quite a number on my party, though, and as you can see, Nina is actually very low on AP right now. Not too worried about it, because Nina honestly isn't too useful against the boss, but it's still worth mentioning, because she does have Renew. Who's this? She kinda looks like Sana. Huh. That's an odd coincidence for a statue to look just like a girl that we just met. As a small correction, it seems that the magic mummies actually cast cold on you rather than spark like I thought. Alright, let's take these back and then get to the proper platform that will take us further into the tower. It was this one on the right, wasn't it? Or, you know, I already forgot. Let's see, I just got... Yeah, it's this one. There we go. I can't believe I forgot that. There's only 5 of these things. Oh, all these statues are really creepy. Yeah, definitely want to bring plenty of herbs. If I was just relying on Rand's healing here, we'd already be out. Jeff's getting pretty close to a level up. I actually don't want him to level up before we get to the end of this place. And there's a very certain reason to that. Actually, you know, I'll mention that. I'll leave that in. Whenever you get a lead-off attack, you actually can always run from a fight, 100%. No, I would not like to leave. Yeah, you ask her to let you leave, she warps you right out of the place. All that progress, gone. And, yeah, attack. The ogres, I didn't mention this, they're actually one of the enemy type that can counter you. I did not remember these guys had Cure 1. I don't think they can cast it too much, though. I would assume not, anyway. Critical hits always help. As you can see, Rand's damage is starting to catch up. Rand, actually, while he is a decent physical fighter, he's not the strongest, but if you put him at the front of the party, which I like to do, just have him soak up hits, he does pop off some pretty decent damage figures. Yeah, Rand's just a big old wall of HP and defense, which is perfectly fine by me. An herb to replace all the ones I'm going to be using. Not nearly enough. Whoops. Yeah, as you can see, at level 11, Rand has already got more HP than Jeff does. Alright, let's continue on. Hopefully we're getting close to the end of this place. I actually did consider investing in a couple smokes to abate the encounter rate a little bit, but I deemed it unnecessary. My reasoning is, if I'm going to be doing some grinding as I go through the game anyway, may as well try to get into as many encounters as I can while I'm ahead. Oh, we'll just run away here. Yeah, I actually don't want Jeff to get a level up before we get to the boss fight, for a very particular reason. Also, you've probably noticed the gimmick of this is we just got to step on the switches and the gates will switch. It's a silk glove there for Nina, little hand equipment that she can equip there. Nina needs every bit of defense that she can get, because she gets basically nothing for leveling up. And unfortunately, Jeff did get a level up. Alright, yeah, that's exactly what I didn't want to have happen. Because he leveled up, his AP increased by 1. And now that his AP is increased, that potentially means that I will be doing less damage with my dragon spells when I get into a situation where I can use them. Now, dragon spells, if you're at full AP, they do the maximum amount of damage. If you're at less than full, then it's a percentage of the full damage, depending on how much you have left. Basically, like, say he had 100 AP, went down to 99, he would be doing 99% of his damage. For these lower spells, it's a bit weird. When your AP is an odd number like that, I think you can potentially still do full damage, even if you only have one less. But, here we go, cursing. I knew these guys could do it. The curse lowers you down to the ill condition status, which is the lowest kind of battle condition you can have. But it's not exactly clear what condition does, if anything, so this spell is not terribly threatening. Oop, actually. There we go. Then I can step back on that one to reset the gates. Yeah, we'll just run here. Yeah, Curse, not a threatening status effect at all. It basically does nothing. Ooh, a wizard ring. And a wise robe. I want to check to see if Rand can equip that wise robe. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Whoa, that's a really good upgrade for Nina, though. And, hey, nice offense upgrade, too. One more correction. The magic mummies can cast Cold and Spark. Okay, I could have sworn they could use Spark, so yeah, it's both. The reason I didn't consider that is just because there's not too many enemies that actually use multiple magic spells in this game. Most enemies in this game are one-trick ponies. I mean, I suppose you could say that the H-Fly is like poisoning you and cursing you. That's a little thing that they do, but, well, the curse is useless, so I don't think that really counts. Which way did we want to go? Okay, that just shows us that there is a shaman statue there. And nothing else. Here we go. Another one of these puzzles. Well, not really a puzzle, I guess. Actually, this is really simple. Wise Hoop. I think that's an accessory that increases your wisdom? Yeah, wisdom basically does nothing, but, I mean, we can equip it anyway. It's not like it hurts our character. We actually haven't gotten too many accessories this point in the game. There's not too many places where you can buy them. It's towards the end of the game where you actually start finding the good accessories that you can equip in the etc. category. That item that we got there, that's actually a really, really good one. That is a Wise BL. I like to call them Wise Bloods. Those restore your AP by 100 points. For characters like Jeff, that's basically their maximum AP for the entire game, so having one of those allows you to fully restore your AP within a fight, even if you've already used your dragon spell. But I'm sure that won't come up at all in the future. Alright, let's just heal up real quick. I'm actually low on herbs, I'm surprised. Do I have anything that can cure the... Oh yeah, the cure-all. I mean, Curse basically does nothing, but I have antidotes for poison anyway, so may as well get this cure-all out of my inventory. Alright, here we are. Nemufu, huh? Well, we just want to undo the curse on John. Yeah, him. Alright, well, what's the agenda? Okay, no. This is going into a fight. No, it's because you're crazy and trying to turn me into a pet. Well, not with that attitude, they don't. Ew. But, yeah, boss fight against Nemufu. In Japan, her name is Nymphomani. Yeah. I've read that this is censorship, but honestly, I think they might have just missed the joke in this specific instance, because they do actually translate her name closer to correctly in the credits, funnily enough. So, yeah, we'll show off our dragon powers for the first time. Nina can't do too much in this fight since she doesn't really have any AP, and even if she did, she'd definitely be our lowest damaging thing. Nemufu herself isn't too tough, really. I honestly forget what she can do, because this fight tends to not last too long. Start with Thunder Puppy to show that off. Alright, did full damage. Okay, so my worries were baseless. Yeah, whenever you have an odd number of AP, it generally doesn't, it rounds up instead of down. Now, I could use my Wise Blood to restore Jeff's AP to full, and then he could use a full-strength dragon spell again. Actually, if I... oh, well, Nemufu's already gone, so that's not necessary. But if I had a Wisdom Fruit, and since his AP is just 21, and 20 does full damage, that would also restore him to full AP to do full damage, and as you can imagine, it would be pretty awesome if I could get off 256 damage each round. Come on, we just wanted to undo Jean's curse. Please, can you tell us how to undo it? A young girl kisses him, huh? Well, we've got a couple of those here. Alright, but it looks like Nemufu is done with us. Okay, she just tells us here that how to undo Jean's curse. But actually, all those stone statues we came across, you probably guessed this, but those were people. And now that we've defeated Nemufu, their curse is undone and they're back to normal. So, one of those things we can do is stop off and get a new shaman. But that will be for next time. I hope you enjoyed watching, and please, have a nice day.